You remember at the end of your stewardship talk, would you remind folks that I'll be on the stewardship table in the gathering hall after service if they have any questions?
Okay, sure.
I'll take the single track with the branches tangled low, held in the bright spring breeze, looking outward from the maze in my mind. I start to unwind. Is this too much to take? Is this okay with you? And everything keeps changing. The prairie grass is swaying. Everything keeps changing. The prairie grass is swaying. Is this too much to take? Is this okay with you? When everything keeps changing, the prairie grass is swaying. Everything keeps changing, the prairie grass is swaying. Green after brown after green, leaf after leaf after leaf, green after brown after green, leaf after leaf after leaf.
To invoke love is to ask for a hug from a thunderstorm, spill tea in the lap of the infinite jester. To invoke love is to never know if it will come softly, with the nuzzle of a beloved dog comforting a disappointed child, or pounce right on your chest with the strength of a lioness protecting her cub, her pride, her homeland. To invoke love is to take the risk of inviting chaos to visit the spaces we have spent so much time making tidy. To watch as the breath of life fills the curtains and scatters everything we have only just folded and put away. To invoke love is to allow for the possibility that our words and our actions might become so empowered that we can no longer believe in apathy, or take the self-righteous path of believing that we are impotent or that nothing can change. To invoke love is to play the fool, the one more concerned with loving than with appearances or reputation, the one who is ready and willing to be vulnerable, to abandon anything that gets in love's way, the one who has chosen love over fear. To invoke love is to be ready to become love. Here, now, in everything we do. Are you ready? These words to bring us into this space by the Reverend Sean Dennison, offering us an invitation and a challenge, it seems, to invoke love and all that comes with it. But yes, we are ready. You've shown that simply by showing up, because that's what we do here. And we are glad that you are here this morning. We welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Central Oregon. No matter how it is you come here today, no matter what it is you bring with you in your heart, your beating heart, my guess is, for each and every one of us, there's a lot going on in our hearts today. Maybe some pain and suffering, maybe some joy and liveliness. We invite you to bring them all with you, for that is who we welcome in this space as we do the work to become love. And we are also thrilled to welcome Aaron Cole Baker today as our guest musician. Aaron was born in the US and raised in the beach-filled rural Northland of New Zealand. She called Oregon home for 6 years and recorded several albums here. And Go magazine said of her that she is one of the more constant and compelling voices on the Central Oregon music scene. And I think you will agree, if not already, by the end of our service, that they have their finger right on that pulse. In May of 2019, Erin and her family moved to the US and bought an RV and toured the Northwest, playing music at festivals and different venues and house concerts. And now we are lucky enough to say that she calls Bend and Central Oregon home again. And if she looks familiar to you, maybe you've seen her out in town, maybe you've seen her at Sisters Folk Festival, maybe you saw her on our Zoom service a few years ago, on our flower celebration service. In fact, it was Erin playing on Zoom that day that began to inspire this whole idea of having a guest musician with us once a month on the first Sunday, because, well, she was so fantastic that day. We said we want some more of that. So we're grateful to have her here with us. We'll get to enjoy her music with us this morning, and she'll be at coffee hour after the service if you'd like to say hello to her. We'll all invite us to stand in body or spirit as we sing an old song, What Wondrous Love. What wondrous love is this? Now, this song is one of those that it has its roots in very traditional singing. And there, it's such that people didn't always, these were not trained singers singing, like shape note music and these old rousing songs. They weren't professional singers. And my guess is neither are a lot of you. And that is just fine. This is a song that asks of us to take a deep breath, and maybe even you could crank your arm like this if you wanted to, but it's this rousing song. So it's got 3 verses, and I'll invite you on the 3rd verse to sing it as loud as you can or want. If you've ever sung with shape note singing, it is not about being on pitch. It's about creating a noise in a space that is joyous and beautiful. And this song deserves that because it's asking this question, what wondrous love is this? So let's belt this one out. What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O O my soul. What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow ground, friends to me gathered round. O my soul, O my soul, friends to me gathered round. O my soul, to love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end I will sing, I will sing, with thanks until the end I will sing. Please be seated.
In these hard times, let us first look to the response of love. In the midst of challenge, may our chalice flame bear witness to the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. In the midst of uncertainty, may our chalice be a beacon of encouragement that our values may guide our choices. Let us look first to the response of love.
Thanks, Ellie. Thanks, Ellen. I want you to stand once again as we keep singing our chalice response, Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. We'd like to invite our kids and the young at heart, and frankly, anybody who'd like to come on down front at this time while we have our time for all ages.
Good morning. This month, we are exploring a new theme of love. And that reminded me of a story about hearts that I want to share with you today. So today's story is called All the Beating Hearts, and it's written by Julie Fogliano and Katya Chen. Each day starts with the sun, and hopefully something to eat, and something to wear, and possibly somewhere to go, or somewhere to stay. And sometimes the day will be full of what daytimes are always full of: work, play, or work and play. And sometimes nothing much at all. And we will still watch the clouds from where we stand, and the birds will come and go. And some things will grow and overflow, and other things will turn into something new, or shrivel up and fade away, and sometimes things will die. And along the way, there will be love with its arms wrapped around us tight. And some days we will curl up and wish to be any other place. And sometimes we'll be filled right up to the top with that feeling that everything is exactly right. And the night will always come too. And then we will find our sleeping place. And then maybe we will read or sing before we close our eyes and drift into a dream, hopefully a good one, but sometimes not. And for a little while, there we all are, just hearts beating in the darkness, strong and steady and sure. Each beat a reminder that we are here and alive together, a part of the same, but exactly different. And for just a little while, there in the dark, that is all that we need to be. And then the sun shines us into a brand new day, a day that is bright and blinding and full. And everyone is busy being everywhere and everything else. And all of those beating hearts are still there, but struggling to be heard above it all. Each beat asks us to remember that we are already everything that we need to be. We are here and alive, together but apart, the same but exactly different. And nothing needs to be heard except our beating hearts, strong and sure. And so ends our story today.
Thanks, Amy. Who here has a heart? Oh, you think everybody does? I think you're right.
We might.
Who here has a heart and your heart is beating right now? Everybody, every single one of us. And you're making a heart. Ooh, that's cool. Let's all do that. You can all make hearts. Now we've all got 2 hearts. Woohoo! Fantastic. That's one to have and one to share. Fantastic. So isn't that cool? We all have hearts. And I love this story. It reminds us that people are so different and they live different lives. But at the end of the day, we all have beating hearts. We all like to have breakfast. We all like to sleep well. We all, get through our days. And when it comes down to it, despite all of our differences, us humans aren't that different in what we really need from each other, which is to have our hearts beating and some love and some food, a nice place to sleep. So you're going to look at this story a little bit more in your religious exploration classes. And you got a dog. All right. Nice. So that's something that can expand your heart and your ways of loving.
Absolutely.
And your dog's got a beating heart too. Isn't that something? So as I say religious exploration, Amy, that reminds me of something amazing. There's a lot of kids.
There are. We have a lot of friends
now
with us this morning.
And when we have a lot of kids come on a Sunday morning, that means we need some more religious exploration volunteers to hang out with our awesome kids during their religious exploration classes.
Yes.
I wonder if we've created a system that people could find out information on how to learn more about that.
Yes. So we have lots of friends with us this morning, and we have recently. So we need more friends, more adult friends to come and help us in RE. And you can find out more about how you can help us with that by coming to the table that's outside of the RE space. It will be there every week through the end of the program year. And a representative from RE will be there as well. So you can come talk to us about how you can come and play with us and connect with us and sign up for a week to come and join us. It'll be so much fun.
So you're saying if I wanted to come help an RE,
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't have to come every Sunday from now until the end of church?
No, you could just come one time.
Well, that sounds like a pretty easy way to get involved and help our kids.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We need everybody.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, that's what makes it work, right? All right.
All right. Well, before we go to RE today, we need to say our children's covenant. So will you help me do that? In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved.
We'll invite you to stand again and sing again. As we make an arch, our kids can go through the arch to meet up at RE, or you can head around the side if an arch seems like something you don't want to get into. And we'll sing as you go. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go in peace. Though our love is with you always. As you go, as you go, as you go, may joy. Oh, that's right there. Now in peace, know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go, as you go, may joy surround you. As you go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go. Please be seated. Good morning. I'm Chayla Sloper, the Congregational Life Facilitator, and I have today's announcements. A special welcome to those who are joining us on Zoom. If you'd like to let us know that you were with us today, or to sign up for our weekly communications, you can do that. We have a virtual visitor form that we drop into the chat. And a special welcome for those who are new or newer to UUFCO who are here today. We have a newcomer welcome. We're going to be trying to, we'll be back on the pattern of first Sunday of the month. If you have any questions about UUFCO or just want to hear from one of our active member volunteers to learn more about our congregation, please show up in the library, the Founders Fireside Room. You could bring your coffee there, and that'll be around 11:30. Also, the Connections Corner in the Gathering Hall is a place where you can sign up for a name tag. I had some that I didn't get made in time for a certain family, but next week they'll be there for you. And so if you'd like a name tag, if you know you're going to be coming around and you'd like us to know your name, please sign up for that as well. Today, in addition to the newcomer welcome, Young Sounds will be rehearsing again. That's also at 11:30 in the sanctuary. So for the parents of the young ones who have gone to class, or for any of the young ones still here, all ages, no experience necessary, just come and have some young sounds together. And that'll be here. Also today at about 1 or 1:15, we'll be having the Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon sponsored Earth Summit, Oregon Earth Summit here. So there'll be different locations around the state, and the Central Oregon's location will be here. We'll have some part of the program through Zoom, and then part of the program with some local speakers as well. So you don't need to have registered. You can just walk in, and that'll be, like I say, between 1:15. I think the program starts at 1:30. So it was sweet to hear one of the children in response to love saying, "I have a dog." And next Sunday, all of us who have ever been blessed by non-human companions, whether furry or feathered or fishy or
whatever. I love alliteration, but it only goes so far. Next Sunday, we'll be celebrating the love that we've experienced in our lives through our pets. So you're invited to bring a photo that will have a special sort of altar of tribute for our pets. So that'll be next Sunday. And before that, on Friday night, our art resources team is going to have a new and I think probably scientifically exciting art exhibit. It'll be about fractals and repeating patterns in nature. And there have been mathematicians who have said that mathematics is the language of God, which I really love. So the reception will be Friday night between 6 and 7. Refreshments will be served. Next Sunday is also Nourish Sunday, so it's our produce and perishables drive. And most exciting, there's also a circle supper on the 17th. We'd like more people to sign up. Also XYZ, our younger folks, we have a spot on the calendar for you on the second Tuesday, but nobody has decided where you want to meet. So let me know if you have an idea. What's that?
February 15th.
February 15th?
Yeah, at the Commons.
At the Commons.
Coffee and Tap Room.
Okay, at February 15th, there we go, at the Commons Coffee and Tap Room on reliable source from the Reverend. Now, the most exciting to me thing to announce, it's in your skyline, but 2 of our members said, we need more opportunities for people to just get together and share a meal. Right? Like that's such a simple thing in building community. So they've decided the 3rd Sundays of the month at 5 p.m. So it'll be an actual evening supper. Everyone is invited. I didn't have the email in the skyline, but you can write it down if you'd like to RSVP. It's just Sunday supper at uufco.org. So big thanks to Judy Hurlbert and Alice Elshoff who are getting this rolling. You can email them also if you'd like to get on their team and just once a month provide a simple meal, $5 a person, 8 and under, free, and we'll just get together and get to know each other a little bit better. So I think that's very exciting. I wanted to let you know also that today, being the first Sunday of the month, is the Greater Community Collection Sunday. Before the offering is taken, we will hear a little bit from Kat Mastrangelo, who is here representing Volunteers in Medicine, our Cascades Clinic. So that is a lot going on, and let us all experience the blessing of being with one another in a community focused on love. So blessings on your day.
I'd like to invite up Fletcher Chamberlain and Laura Vosnier. Fletcher is our oh yeah, you can clap for them. You clap for them. Fletcher's our treasurer. Laura is our board president. Tom Moore is leading our stewardship this year. And you could stand? Yeah, sure. And they invited us to have just a brief conversation around how stewardship works here. So stewardship is the month of February when we make pledges and figure out how to run this place for the coming year. So we just wanted to slow down a second. We get it. Some people get excited about, some people get excited about Stewardship Month because it gets them full of energy. And some people, they're like, oh God, I can't wait till Stewardship Month's over and they stop talking about money. But in fact, it's an interesting thing, an important thing to talk about. So Fletcher, you are, speaking of money, you're our treasurer. So I know that, where our numbers come from and what we do with them lands squarely in your lap and in the finance committee's lap before it comes to the board. And so, we've got a pledge drive and a pledge goal. How did we get those?
We always set the goal with a set of numbers from the past, and we look at who's been able to give in the past and how much the congregation's grown and sort of the background numbers behind it. This year we made an extra effort to also look forward, and we actually did a really rough budget back in November. Doing a budget starting for next July is a little crazy, but we did do a dream budget. And what do we really want to do for this congregation, for all the kinds of things that Chayla was just talking about, to support our amazing staff and the growth that they've got that they have to manage and help us manage. So this goal this year is a aspirational goal and a stretch for us.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed, because every once in a while I'll sit in on one of the finance committee meetings where we're like trying to really figure out what the budget's going to be. And one of the things I notice is that oftentimes those conversations come down to very smaller numbers. Like, if it's one of our justice teams, like there's $50, where should we put it? What do you make of that?
Well, and this $490,000 is a big number. But the fascinating part about this process is that that every little bit counts, and every little bit makes a difference. I can't read that, Jonathan, I'm sorry.
Mic to mouth.
Mic to mouth that's what the note says. And is that better?
That's better. So if you could just say everything you said up to this point again.
No, you don't want to hear it all. But the key point is that every small little bit counts. I thought of it this year when a lot of people worked really hard on the auction, and they raised over $10,000, and it felt like a lot of work. And yet in the scale of this, does it make a difference? Yes, every contribution matters. We've actually had some members in the past who've not been able to make contributions, but if everyone can do what they can, and if everyone who's able to give a four-figure gift can go up by a little bit, the little bits are what make the difference when we're doing the budget for next year.
Fantastic, thanks, Fletcher.
Can I just add to what Fletcher just said? I don't know if most of the congregation knows, when he's talking about, the auction and the $10,000 it raised, our budget was even last year. And so without that auction, we would have been in a deficit. So really everything matters.
Yeah, and last year was the first time?
I think last year was the second year.
Okay.
We've now had a balanced budget and actually been able to contribute extra sometimes to the staff or to the capital for this amazing building.
Yeah.
And for all the many people who dreamed and made this building happen, they knew they were building a building that was bigger than the congregation then could afford. They had a plan. We succeeded on the plan. I came along later, not me, but it's amazing what this congregation has done to build this and support it.
Right.
And thank you, everyone, for that.
Yeah, for sure. And that gets to our theme, expanding our dream, right? So inviting more people into our Unitarian Universalist faith and building a place that could be a resource to the community has been our dream, and now we dream again. And Laura's leading our board and our congregation, our listening sessions currently to figure out how we are going to expand that dream. So that's the number. Fletcher's the numbers side. Laura, you can speak to the heart side of why we do what we do, and why someone would say, when asked, yeah, maybe I'll be the president of the fellowship for a year, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But you said yes.
I said yes, I'm up here, right?
Yeah, that's right. You did say yes.
We're meeting every month and doing all kinds of great things. And, that's really a great question. How do we find ourselves in a place or in a position? And, I think it comes back to the first time a lot of us walk through the doors of this amazing building, and we're struck with this wonder and awe. And if the visual wasn't enough to draw us in and keep us here, it's what we feel when we come to our services every Sunday. And it's this overwhelming sense of, wow, I'm surrounded by all this love and compassion, and it dawns on you that you feel like each time you show up, you're filling up, that you're receiving so much right here on Sundays. And then I don't know about you guys, but at some point, all of that just wants to come right back around to all of you. So in the receiving, there's this sense of, well, I'm ready to give as well. I'm ready to serve. And it's I don't know, this place overwhelms me. And I think Fletcher really touched on it when he mentioned the early people of our fellowship who had tremendous vision, who were, I don't know, kind of audacious actually, and planted the seed that became this, which we get to receive. And so I think I feel just tremendous gratitude, and my serving on the board is probably just a response to that.
Yeah.
And you could call it courageous love, maybe.
You could call it courageous love, yeah. Without overthinking it, we're talking about love this morning. What's something you love about this fellowship?
Oh my gosh. What do I love about this fellowship? I can't even say it in words. I just feel overwhelmed when, like I said, when I walk through the doors. I think, but also every Sunday the music is real important to me. So I love that.
Well, thanks, you all. Appreciate it. Anything else you want to add before we?
Just thanks to everyone
Thanks
who
to
has
yeah.
contributed and will contribute over the next month. It is February, so we are going to keep bugging you for a few more days on this.
Not only are we all welcome, but you're all welcome to join this campaign, and we thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you all. Give that to Chayla. Well, one of the cool things about this place is oftentimes we just act as a way to empower other things happening in the community, whether it's our justice programs or whether it's, I don't know, going out and showing up in town where we might offer our service. One of the things we do is our greater community collection. And so we're really pleased that we'll be giving our offering away to volunteers in medicine. So we'll hear a little bit more about that now. No.
I am happy to be the executive director of Volunteers in Medicine, which, for those of you who are not familiar with us, we are a free clinic funded by charity in our community. We've been here for almost 20 years, and we take care of people who are low income, working, and do not have insurance. And even with Oregon being as progressive as it is and expanding Medicaid, there are still thousands of people in Central Oregon who do not have access to health care because they don't have access to insurance. So we use the services of around 200 volunteers to take care of 1,000 patients at any given time. We have a pharmacy in our clinic that distributes about $2 million worth of medications every year. And we have doctors and nurses and volunteer interpreters who come every day to our clinic. Every clinic that we have, we need about 25 volunteers to come to staff that. And we operate year-round. And it's just to see some of the things that we're able to do for people, everything from well women visits to diabetes control, to patients that even get diagnosed with cancer and need really extensive care. We have a very strong pro bono network in our community. Many of you may not be aware, but every single doctor in Bend will take our patients on referral pro bono. And we've, yes. And that's something that we developed 20 years ago, and we have continued to grow and strengthen and adapt to the needs in our community. And my watch just went off, and so that's 2 minutes. I will be out in the Commons afterwards if you have any more questions. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. So, as we come forward, we'll take our collection for Volunteers in Medicine to support their good work this morning. Thank you, Paula. That was Tina Turner's What's Love Got to Do with It? And it was a very beautiful version of that song, for sure. Thank you. Each week we share our joys and our sorrows. We have a form out on our kiosk that you can write down a joy or a sorrow that we'll share for the congregation. And every so often it happens that everyone decides to just keep their joy or sorrow to themselves today. So we have no written joys or sorrows. So we're just going to hold some space. There's some candles up here on the side of our sanctuary if you'd like to light a candle for whatever that joy or sorrow might be in your own life. And we're just going to hold some space for the fact that we know that there are joys and sorrows in this room. They need not be shared aloud, to be understood, to be held by the love of this fellowship. Ooh. And while we do that, Paula, will you play a little bit more of the Tina Turner? I'm just going to take us into silence, and then after I bring us out of the silence, you can play. Okay. And understanding that a prayer sometimes comes from our heart, becomes words spoken into the world, and sometimes a prayer is the silence of our own heart. So let us share in some silence together.
This is a song that I wrote for my daughter, my oldest daughter, June, and I think she was about 5 at the time, and now she's 10. It's called Morning Dove. Morning as in the morning sunrise. I am the wind that blows nobody else, like nobody else. I hope you'll know a love so true, like how choked up I get over loving you, like nobody else, like nobody else. Higher than the clouds above, a gentle breeze, a swift morning dove. Always know my love. You are the rain that cools me, and you are the one who changes me, like nobody else, like nobody else. I hope you'll know a love so true, where you want to be a better you, for nobody else, for nobody else. Higher than the clouds above, a gentle breeze, a swift morning dove. Always know my love. I am the ground you stand on, one friend you can depend on, like nobody else, like nobody else. You are the light that guides me when there's no one left beside me. There's nobody else, there's nobody else. Higher than the clouds above, a gentle breeze, a swift morning dove. Always know my love. Higher than the clouds above, a gentle breeze, a swift morning dove. Always know my love. Ooh.
Always know my love. Aaron, I'm assuming that you tell your kids you love them? Yeah. I tell my kids I love them too. I tell my wife that I love her. It's important for me to share that. I say it often. It's a small gesture of something large inside of me. But I also really love popcorn. And I've been known on many occasions to say, I love these chairs that we have in the sanctuary, and I love how we have different shades of the sagey color, and then there's different colors thrown throughout. I love that. I love that. I also, around Halloween, I love nerds, the candy, the small little candy. And then I started to think about the way I use that word, and if my wife were to consider that I'm comparing my love for her to nerds, the candy, it might not play that well. And this word, I might overuse it. I use it to describe things I'm excited about or that move something in me, but the range and quality of what those things are is pretty large. My love for my kids, and I love that rug. The kids have been coming down on that rug for a long time, but they're distinctly different kinds of love. And it's confusing to talk about love just because of this. We can name all kinds of different loves in our lives. There might be romantic love, and there could be marital love and familial love, but there's also love amongst our friends. You might tell your friends that you love them. I'd encourage you to do that. They would hopefully understand that you just mean as a friend. And, maybe at the beginning of a relationship, we would say there's puppy love, and there might be unconditional love or conditional love. We might experience empty love sometimes, or there can be selfish love. And back in the 60s, there was some good old-fashioned free love, and there's love at first sight, we say. Love at first sight, yeah. There's platonic love, we make love. There might be obsessive love. There's long-lost love. There's love of country, love of place, love of our enemies. There's love of using too many examples and words when I probably could have used fewer. But we love words too. So in doing this, love, the idea can become so abstract sometimes, so diluted that we lose track of that deeper meaning that we might talk about when we come to a place like this and talk about love. You know, this grand concept, dare I say even capital L, love. And love's oftentimes confused with just affection or attraction or something like that. But and we say that when we come here, we want to open our hearts to love everyone in the entire world, as difficult as that might be, loving your enemies. And we understand that doesn't mean we have to always like everybody or want to hang out with them, but there's something about the quality of being in the world and having an open heart of love that we aspire to here. This word love points in a lot of different directions, all at once. And some people say that they believe God is love, which makes sense because the word God functions in much the same way. It points in all kinds of different directions. It can mean so many different things. If someone asks me if I believe in God, well, the first thing I have to say is, well, what do you mean by God? Because there's not much point of answering the question if I don't know what they're talking about. What God are you talking about? And so when we use the word love, it's similar. What love are we talking about when we come here? And we talk about it a lot here. I would dare to say, I don't know if we could get the ushers on this, because I know they have clickers that count. But we use the word love here a lot. My guess is we probably use it, well, I know we use it at least once every Sunday, because it shows up in our covenant and in different places in our songs and in our words that we share. We say love is the spirit of our fellowship. And we also say that we want to seek the truth in love. We put a lot of faith and a lot of grounding on this word that is pretty open. We sing about love guiding us. We did just a couple weeks ago. And our Universalist side of our heritage theologically proclaimed unapologetically that love was the most powerful force in the universe, that God was love, and that only through love could humankind reach salvation. And they didn't mean otherworldly salvation. They meant right here and now, salvation from what it is to live apart from love. That love is what can mend that wound. Indeed, we've actually staked our entire faith upon this word. And see, I thought this was all good and well and fine. Love. Who can't celebrate love? We can all get behind being more loving, right? Until, I think it was my second year here, I was having a conversation with one of our congregants about love, and the person said, you know what? That word doesn't really mean much to me. Because it was so big, because it didn't hold it. But I'm a minister who uses the word love often and with complete sincerity. So it makes sense to try and at least define a bit on what we are talking about here when we're talking about love. And it's a bit of a tricky task because we all come at it from slightly different angles, given our unique experiences in life and how we have witnessed and been shown and lived out love in our own unique expression in this world. But there is something, I believe, common in all of our ideas of love, about this shared human experience. There's a bond amongst us that points to this greater concept of love. Even if when we started to describe it in detailed nuance, those would probably look a little different. But as humans, we share something together with this idea of love. Jayla was talking earlier this week about this Sting song and this lyric. And it said that we share the same biology regardless of ideology. Believe me when I say to you, I hope the Russians love their children too. To which Jayla said, well, of course the Russians love their children. Of course they do, because they are human. Just like in our time for all ages, what makes us human gets pretty simple when you get all the other stuff out of the way. So perhaps we can be a little more clear. When we speak about love here, we are talking about that force that connects us in a deep way in our shared fundamental humanity and humility. And it calls out to us to feel and to be and to move in this world in a way that embodies this inherent connection found amongst us. There was an image in that time for all ages that I thought was so very beautiful. It said, we are all just hearts beating in the darkness, strong, steady, and sure. Each beat a reminder that we are here and alive, together but apart, the same but exactly different. One of my teachers once described love, and I'm going to invite you to hear his words. His name was David Bumbaugh. He was one of my seminary teachers, and he had a beautiful way with words. So I'm going to share his words with you this morning. And I'm going to invite you, as I do, if you're willing, to put your own hand on your own heart to see if you can actually feel your heart beating. And he ponders, perhaps this is why love is so difficult for us. Perhaps this is why love seems so utterly irrelevant to the world problems and the global challenges. Perhaps we have lost the aptitude for mystical union. We are left with a formless yearning for what we know not. We busily guard the fortress of our uniqueness, failing to see ourselves in others or others in us, forgetting the fact that we receive our very selves as gift from the hands of others, and that we are sustained in life by the faithfulness of others, and that we understand ourselves only as we see ourselves reflected in the eyes of others. We busily guard ourselves from the imperative of love, the injunction that until we are prepared to lose ourselves, we shall never truly find ourselves. We busily guard ourselves from the full implication of love, that all people under the sun, regardless of time and death, and the space between the stars are one kin, flesh of our flesh, bone of our bone, bound together in inescapable unity, destined to the same end, bound together in a mystic oneness, the origin of which we may never know, the reality of which we can never escape. We guard ourselves against the radical truth that is our separateness, which is a great illusion. And so to believe in the possibility of mystic union, the incorporation of self and other that is such that each is enhanced and nothing is lost. To believe in the possibility of love that is the precondition of love for an individual and for the world and for the self. A recognition that at the margins we merge and we are one.
This is a song that I wrote called Turn, Learn, and yeah, I guess it really came from a place of just seeing the beauty inside each of us, like the core of us, that who we really are is something really pure and beautiful, And sometimes it's hard to see that, but each day is a new day that we can learn from and start again. And thank you for having me here. It's awesome to be playing for you. Gotta take a moment when the going's tough. It's a drink so bitter you can't bear to swallow. You're working on kindness to yourself. 'Cause damn, it can only get better. Sunrise knows its way home. Turn, turn, turn. Give me another try. I hope I'll learn, yeah. Gotta take a moment when the going's good. My fingers in the dirt, hold my child closer. Working on kindness to myself. The breath kicked out of me sooner or later. Sunrise knows its way home. Turn, turn, turn. Give me another try. I hope I'll learn, yeah. I am a vapor gathering cloud. I'm a whisper on the breeze from the firelight. You're made of everything that's pure and good. I wanna shout it out, shout it out, shout it out. Shout it out, shout it out, shout it out. You're made of everything that's pure and good. Shout it out, shout it out, shout it out.
E. Cummings wrote, "I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear, and whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart." A friend told me a story recently, a beautiful and heartbreaking story. Her stepfather had a heart transplant, a beating heart from another body put into his body. He was about 60 years old, and he was receiving the heart of a 30-year-old young man. And so the day of the operation came, and everything went as planned. And here he was, with a new heart, new to him. And as time went on, he started wondering, now what? What do I do with this? Where can I put this gratitude? And so he reached out to the hospital and he said, is it possible to meet the family of this young man? And the hospital said, well, it certainly is. And they reached out to the mother of this young man. And as he had suspected, that this heart came from tragedy. The young man had been in a horrible car accident, but had said that he wanted to give his life-saving organs on if he could. And so after that accident, that heart was taken and it was found its way into his chest. And so when this woman met her stepdad, they arranged a meeting, and there's a doctor present. And when he said when she walked up, they didn't exactly know what to do. Two strangers, complete strangers, with this incredible bond between them, this mysterious thing that had happened. And so they hugged, and the doctor said, would you like to hear the heartbeat? So she put the stethoscope in her ears and placed it to his chest. She heard her son's beating heart inside this man, giving him life. And she cried, and they hugged again. And this hug was different. And I'll never understand what happened in that hug, because that was their shared experience of love. And neither one of them ever could have imagined that they would find insight in that way into the many mysterious ways love works. But that's how it showed up for them. And love is like that. That's how we learn about love. Even if we can't describe it perfectly with words, we can experience it and feel it and see it in the world through our own lives. And so we seek to live in ways that's open to seeing and feeling this love. We seek and look to find ways to embody that love, to be brave enough to say, I love you into the world, to those people that we care about, to say the words, I love you, when they're difficult, to be explicit about a practice of loving every single day and being curious about what we will find. Not the tried and true patterns of ways we know we can love, but those ones we have yet to discover. What might we learn about love? When we started this Ripple project back in January, it's when we gave $5 to folks here on Sunday morning and said, go out and do something loving, do something good in the world. And people did. They're up on the whiteboard in coffee hour. I invite you to read them. They're amazing stories of someone creating a ripple in the world of goodness. Some very small acts, but I know I have to believe and have faith that those acts of goodness remain in the hearts of those people that they touched. And one of the fascinating things that we heard from people was that they carried that $5 around for a while, waiting, wondering, where will this $5 go? But in doing so, being open in that way as they traveled throughout their day. And at some point, the moment showed up, whether it was a homeless person on the street, or whether it was a friend collecting money for a cause that they believed in, whether it was our youth selling pizza here a couple Sundays ago and making good on theirs. They're just going to keep raising money. And then they said they're going to give it to a GCC, Greater Community Collection here eventually. But that was the curious part that we learned, was that people traveled through the day curious and wondering and waiting for the opportunity for this $5 to find its spot. We can do a similar practice with wondering about love in our lives, where love will show up, where we can be spontaneous with love and courageous with love. And we believe and have faith in the ripples and what this does. And that's why we talk about stewardship, and that's why we do this once a month, is because we believe in the power of love and the power of this place. We believe in the ripples that we can create when we move from here on a Sunday morning or whatever it is you do throughout the week here and move out into the world empowered and emboldened by the love that we talk about and try to express imperfectly here. We have faith that that has a transforming power in the world that is real, that is felt, and that can change someone else's, maybe not whole life, but maybe their day. And that can be enough. Because we believe that it is accumulating and generating more and more acts of these love together and in our own lives that the world can change. This is simple and profound work, and it's so important right now to love. And you all are really good at it. I've seen it. I get to witness it all the time. And then keep doing it more, and you will find that you are rewarded by it because of that connection that we experience when those permeable boundaries are felt and we experience that we are all indeed one. We can help each other remember love and move into love. And if we want a world that is more loving, if we are bold enough to say that's what we want, then we shall be bold enough to make it so. This is our important work. We who are the inheritors of this Universalist tradition that proclaims love as foundational in our theological worlds, to follow love like the North Star that will guide us to the promised land, to hold this love tenderly, like a child in our arms, to know it acts as a life preserver, to save us when things are dark, to know that no matter how unworthy we feel or how celebrated we need to be, that we can find this foundational love and that it's powerful. I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart. That is how it works. Together we carry our heart and each other's hearts into an uncertain world with faith in the power of love, with faith in this mystical union that love can open between us and other people in the world, and that this love can shape us and prepare us to be our part in what is ever unfolding in front of us, what is ever more loving in front of us. May it be so. When our heart is in a holy place, lots of different things can happen. When our heart is in a holy place, you can be sure that love will be found in that heart as well. I invite you to rise and embody your spirit as we sing our closing hymn, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place.
Will you join us in saying together the covenant of this fellowship, our promise, our hope for one another and for ourselves? And as we notice, other than articles and smaller words, there is only one word that shows up twice, and that is the word love. We set it as primary for ourselves. Love is the spirit of this fellowship. This is its law. Peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. It is good to be together. It is good to explore love together and be curious with one another. To be soft enough to hurt, to be strong enough to bear it, and to go on loving. This is our hope for each other and for ourselves. I do this each week because it's a way that I can tell you that I love you every single time. I do love you. I do love you dearly. Let us go in peace. Let us go with gratitude. Let us go with one more round of applause for Aaron Cole Baker, for Kim, and for Paula as well. Yeah. And let us go in peace, and let us go with love. Amen.